21 days in the Word with Nana. Welcome to day 2. Let's go. Smells my fears. Hi guys. So today we studied 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 7, 8, and 9. And 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1, the first verse says that we are God's partners, we are ambassadors of Christ, and we need to make sure that we are not ignoring or abandoning the gifts that God has given to us. And one way we can do that is making sure that unbelievers sees that we are true ministers of God's word in our character, in our words, and in our speech, in everything that we do. Make sure that people are seeing that we are true ministers of God's word. And we also want to make sure that in tribulation, in trials, in distress, in needs, in time of labor, in time of fasting, we remain in constant position of the ministers of God. Make sure that we are not people don't see us and then they start to doubt our relationship with God and stuff. So we want to make sure that in all things we remain like Christ. So the song that says that you are the most high. So whether we like it or not, whether the situation is pleasing or not, we want to make sure that we remain true ministers of God. In 2 Corinthians chapter 8, the summary is a call to generous giving. So Paul was saying that as believers, as much as we abound in faith, in diligence, in knowledge, and in love, we want to make sure that we also abound in our giving. I wrote here that we should also excel in our acts of giving. So 2 Corinthians 8 verse 9 tells us that Christ for our sake, he was rich and then he became poor. So he's more like, and if every day of our life wants to become like Christ, we should also uphold his characters. So I wrote here that you give according to what you have, not what you don't have. What you give is acceptable if you give it eagerly and willingly. So in whatever form, nothing is too small, right? In whatever capacity that you can give, just make sure that you are giving as a believer. And you are giving not to make life difficult for yourself, right? You are giving to uphold others. So that is why you give according to what you have, according to what you can afford, and not put yourself in a position where you have nothing. You get what I'm saying? And then why we give is because your abundance will supply the lack of others. And when you are also in need, you get people to also support you. It's something like that. And then 2 Corinthians chapter 9 also emphasizes on giving. It says that you don't give with grudges, you don't give